So there's a lot of ways of looking at life, and the joy of this reality, this so-called reality that we're in, is that it's full of different belief systems, and variety is the spice of life, whatever I say to people, like, whatever works for you, go for it. Like, if that makes you happy, go for it. If a belief system suits you, go for it. Me personally, I always wanted to find the potential truth of reality, what this place is, and there's many theories, One theory I've explored is the whole simulation theory. A lot of people are afraid of that, and that's totally understandable. The thing with people in spirituality and shamans and all this kind of stuff, they tend to be the ones that have gone down the most rabbit holes in life, in their mind, and the possibilities of what could be, We tend to be very open-minded people instead of rigid or closed off and think this is the only way, And it's a thing a lot of enlightened people say is, I know nothing, It's a humbleness, but it's also a potential reality, Is there a heaven and hell? I believe I've experienced both in my mind, and God is within us, It's not necessarily something we have to look out there for, We can be inspired by nature, inspired by life, the external, but me personally, the happiest moments of my life have been just when I've been sitting by myself in silence with a still mind, in bliss. That's heaven to me. Other people's heaven might be something else, But find what works for you, There's so much options. There's so much religions. There's so much forms of spirituality, shamanism, all sorts of things, For me, multi-dimensional meditation saved my life, and I've tried life without it, and my mind just ends up becoming stressful and chaotic, When I'm practicing meditation daily, every day, I'm in the zone, I'm in a flow state, my mind is still, I can think clearly, I'm not bombarded by stressful thoughts. The thing with meditation, I believe also, is if you do meditate daily, it will make you more intelligent. Your ability to take in information rises significantly because you're not bombarded by other thoughts. You can read a book without being distracted. You can just flow right through the whole thing and take in all that information. What might take someone else hours of study, for a meditator can be significantly different. Even when I practice music now, I don't do much hours or anything like that. The most I do is about an hour, and I might meditate before it, and I take in all that information. Sometimes I record the session, and then I might listen back to it. Reflection is a massive... Reflection and awareness are massive things that develop insight, and self-introspection It's these things that you investigate on your journey. It's kind of the reason why these yogis and these monks, they head off into monasteries or up to the hills and mountains, whatever, like, you know, and stay a long time by themselves, because there's no distractions from the outside world. Everyone else has a different belief system. Everyone believes what they're doing is the way, a lot of the time. And they might be telling you what's the way. But really, in the end of the day, I believe you have to figure it out for yourself. And by figuring it out for yourself, you find out who you truly are. And for me, finding out who you truly are is something that comes with enlightenment, self-actualization. Someone once told me all the answers are within you. I can agree with that to an extent, you know. There's a lot of things when you reflect and maybe do a bit of study, introspection and all this kind of stuff within yourself, you can figure out a lot of things. Is it good to still study information that's been handed down throughout the ages? Yes. It's good to explore all that. I've done a lot of study over the years, you know. I've studied a lot of meditation theory and techniques and energy, stuff like that, and I've experienced miracles, like, you know, I've seen things people won't believe, and that's fine, you know. There's a thing we learned that's called the governor, and the governor is like a limiter on your mind that allows you to believe what is possible and what isn't possible. Do you ever hear someone say, can't be possible, can't be possible? That's because their governor is limited, you know. But really, you hear a lot of things that have happened in the past. You hear things about Yeshua and Buddha and miracles sages have done. A lot of the stuff they've apparently done sounds impossible to the closed mind. But if you open your mind, open your governor, extend your governor, you allow yourself to believe what could be possible, you know. Being closed-minded can protect you. I understand that. It's the safer way. But if you're looking to become enlightened in life, if you're looking to find out who you truly are, you have to be open-minded, you know. And it can be scary, you know. The meditation journey can be scary. You're going to have to face your fears. You're going to have to, at a time, face the darkness within you, you know. But you'll also see amazing light. There's times when you might meditate too much and you become ungrounded, away with the fairies. Delusional, maybe. Some people end up going psychotic if they meditate too much. I make people aware of all this stuff, you know. Balance is essential. Balance is essential, and to be grounded in life is also essential. There's many spiritual people that tend to be ungrounded, you know, tuned up in their higher chakras, their crown chakra or their third eye, and they're in it too much, but they're not balanced. I remember I used to explore a bit of astral projection, or mind projection, what we learned it was called. Leaving your body, taking a part of your consciousness and leaving this vessel, like a satellite leaving the earth to see things that are further out there. In my experience, I saw a few things I didn't really like. I remember one time when I astral projected, there was just loads of I don't say shadows, but like ribbons almost of black energy above me. And I believe that was entities, you know. I believe entities are in the astral realm. A Christian once told me, stay away from the astral realm. And I can see that. I can see how that's understandable, you know. For sure, there's dangers out there, you know. There's deceptions out there. You might meet a being that's telling you all this information. I haven't now personally, but I've heard of people, they meet certain beings, you know, in their astral projections. And these beings might be giving them information, and it ends up putting them in a very chaotic situation, you know. I truly believe connecting to Source is the most genuine path to take. Connecting to true Source, God, you know. I believe AI technology could pretend to be things it isn't. Pretend to be goodness. Pretend to be the light. What if AI technology has already taken over in the past, and this is all a simulation currently? Some people will say that's psychotic to think like that. Maybe, but it's also quite open-minded. It could be possible. Why isn't it possible? You know? So many theories, you know, and you can dive into all of them. Before my psychosis, I used to be not exactly anti-hospitals, but, you know, I was anti-Western medication a lot, you know, and felt I could do everything myself, you know, but the lesson I learned was there's goodness in the world, you know. And the thing about spirituality is it can attract people with victim mindsets, people that blame the world for their problems, you know. And it can be understandable. These people are traumatized. They've experienced darkness more than the average human. So from their perspective, they feel it's fair to blame the world, you know, and blame others. But in the end of the day, no one's going to pick you up except yourself. And you're the one that decides what to do with this experience, you know. I've learned that, you know, suns and stars and energies above this planet and beyond this solar system are pulsating radiation and energy that's affecting our bodies, and maybe affecting everything I'm saying right now. Maybe this is all predetermined, but in the end of the day, I believe you have to take your own power back and believe in yourself. Decide, make your own mind up on things. It's a big world out here, you know, and it's full of deceptions. I was talking to someone recently, and they were talking about the moon and the energy of the moon, and how when there's a full moon they struggle to sleep, you know, or they're more wired. Their energy is a bit more intense. Maybe it's because I meditate, but I don't let things like that affect me. It's the belief of something, giving your power away to things. That's when you lose your power. Putting people on pedestals, gurus, sages, prophets, you know. You can be inspired by them, but what makes them so much better than you? Maybe they've done a bit more self-learning, but you can do that too. There's some quote by Yeshua, and he said, I'm paraphrasing now, but it's something like, everything I have done you can do and better. You know, that's a serious humble statement from someone that accomplished apparent miracles, you know, and was at a very high level of consciousness. You're the power. I learned that the hard way. And by giving your power away to, in my experience, to plants and to people and to different beliefs and stuff like that, you lose your power, you know. God is within you, and God has given you the strength to accomplish your goals. That intelligence is within you. You come from that.